So let's do a little run through here, how this thing works. What makes this different than pretty much any other relay setup I've ever seen, as far as I know, I'm the only one doing this, is that I'm controlling both quads fully through one transmitter. And the Taranis and OpenTX system makes that possible. What's happening is this is a 16-channel transmitter, and let's get rid of that. And what I've done is set up the who knows if we'll be able to see this, but it transmits. Basically, I've set up all of the relay quad flight controls, so elevator, aileron, rudder, throttle, plus mode, and so forth, over here on channels 9 through 16. And then I set up, and that's on flight mode 1. And then I set up the FPV quad on channels 1 through 8. And when I flip on flight mode 2, when I flip this switch, I get full control. So there's the channels 1 through 8 moving. When I flip it over to relay, the relay is under full control. When I flip the switch, no matter what mode I'm in, when I flip the switch to FPV, the relay goes center stick on everything, which happens to be GPS and position hold, neutral throttle, which means just to hang where it's at. So basically, when I flip that switch, the relay stops wherever it's at. While it's flying, I can flip this switch here, and if I flip it up, it will climb. It's saying 0 feet because there's no telemetry right now. It'll give about 20% positive throttle, and it'll climb. The telemetry sends me back the altitude
11 feet
every 10 seconds. And then if I flip the switch down, it goes into failsafe and flies itself home. So no matter what I'm doing while I'm flying the FPV quad, often before I'm even done with flying FPV, I'll flip that switch, the relay starts coming home by itself. Otherwise, when I'm in the FPV mode, it's just flying normally. I also have a switch over here, which is a camera switch, because the FPV quad has its own camera. And so it switches between the relays quad and the relays camera and the FPV camera, and that's this one here. This is the mode switch for both quads, but again, if we switch over to FPV, this always goes back to GPS position hold. Okay, let's look at the relay quad. Again, because that transmits 16 channels, so the trick is how to split them up. So I've got an X8R receiver, FrSky X8R, and in the binding modes you can tell it to assign the 8 PWM outputs. You can pull those from either channels 1 through 8 or channels 9 through 16. So I've set it for channels 9 through 16. It also has an S-bus output. I run that S-bus output through an FrSky S-bus to CPPM converter, and that comes over here through this wire, runs down this cable here. This is a range-link transmitter module, which I've taken out of its heavy case. It's just wrapped in tape so it doesn't get dirt in it. It's actually hanging by the strings here, so that I don't put stress on this. I found that I needed 2 strings instead of just 1, so that it doesn't spin around and yank on the cable. It makes it much more stable to have it on 2 cables. So that's basically just CPPM straight to range length. That goes straight to the FPV quad. Other gear on here, this is a 12 volt step up, step down regulator. So it's always putting 12 volts to the range link and to probably to the 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter, which I'll get to in a second. So on here we have, that's all the control side of it. On the video side, we have a Racewood decased receiver, Racewood 12 or 1.3 gigahertz receiver with a SAW filter mod, and decased, and then the two components inside are folded in half with a piece of wood in between them to keep them from touching, because there's a lot of pins on the back of that would touch and ground out. And then there's output from that comes over here to the video switcher, onboard video switcher. Another input comes from this onboard camera into the video switcher, and then the output of that comes over here to the Boss Cam or Fat Shark. You can use either one. I actually have it set up to use either one. Boss Cam, in this case, Boss Cam 200 milliwatt video transmitter. Let's see. Oh, obviously using NASA GPS because I'm just hovering all the time. I don't much care about placement. It just sits there. It seems to be happy enough. You do have to make sure that the declination on the GPS and magnetic sensor is correct for wherever you are located in the world, or it'll do the toilet bowl effect when it comes down. Let's see. Oh, variometer. As I said, this is the FR Sky variometer. It tells me how high it is when I flip that switch and when it's climbing. Just for completeness, I'm using Hobby King F30A ESCs with a custom Simon K flash. So I took the Simon K code, and I added an option which is the comp_PWM option, and that's a dynamic braking. Regenerative braking, basically. It allows the motors to slow down as fast as they speed up, and allows for more stability using bigger props. The problem with bigger props is they carry more inertia, so they're harder to slow down. They take more, you don't coast down very fast. So right now I'm using 12 by 3/8 props on a 860 kV. This is a Turnigy 860 kV motors. I may go to even bigger, like 13 or 14. Right now I can get 10 to 15 minutes depending on my battery. With this, I'd like to get a comfortable 20 would be really nice. I don't know if I'm going to get to that. Let's see, what else do we got? And then the ground station consists of Boss Cam RC805, which has two video outputs, one going to my video goggles, just some old Fat Shark aviators, and a DVR, which is a LUM8 PV1000. On the FPV side, this is my tried and true this is a Waka Battle H Virus. Funny name, but it is just PVC and square PVC pipe and coroplast. All of the controllers and ESCs are inside, and it runs NTM 1200 motors with 845 props. And then up front here carries the GoPro. I use the GoPro's live output. This is a moon gel capture mount. In other words, I don't have to strap the mount itself together. It stays together, and it does a pretty good job of killing vibration even when it's cold, which is the key. When I fly in the winter with my earplug anti-vibe mount, it's usually pretty bad. Let's see. I think that's about it.